Hello, welcome. I'm Claudia. If you're new here, I share all sorts of planty content, lots of plant chores, and of course, any tip and trick I might learn to help you grow beautiful, lush plants too. I am currently working on my 2025 wishlist plants, and I thought it would be fun to talk about plants I will not be getting or looking for next year. I came up with a list of 9 plants I am not interested in, so I thought it'd be fun to share them with you. I'll add, screenshots or screen recordings to show you what they look like and share why. Hopefully that sounds good to you. Let's get into it in no particular order. We're gonna get right into it, and the first one is a Variegated Gloriosum. Now, I do think that there's like one and two, like 2 different types of Variegated Gloriosums, but from the moment I saw this plant, I knew I wanted nothing to do with it. And not because it's not a beautiful plant, because particularly the one that's kind of like marbly, constellation-y type of variegation is very pretty. Like, it can have a very beautiful color and pattern. I struggle with Philodendron gloriosum. I am on my last try with him, and he's growing well right now, but I just feel like for that price tag, when it's already, and especially for me, a pickier philodendron, I just want nothing to do with it. I can admire it from afar. I also haven't seen any like mature ones. I've only seen the tiny ones that I assume came from tissue culture. So yeah, no thank you for me. I should have actually done this one first because I was low-key repelled by this one the first time I saw it, in any versions of it, to be honest, and that is pink Micans. Also, just any variegated Micans, even the Aurea Micans, but I have never seen one look beautiful. Never. They always look like they are unaliving very quickly. They are unhappy. I always hear about them reverting to all green, and they're expensive. But most importantly, I think that obviously the reverting is a big deal, but I don't think they look good. Every now and then I see like 1 or 2 leaves that look really beautiful, and then it looks unwell. So, I mean, I would love to know your thoughts on this plant because I love Micans. I think it's a beautiful plant, but the variegation, I don't know. It clearly is not a happy plant. Not that I've ever seen. And if you have a beautiful, healthy, variegated or pink Micans, please share because I haven't seen one. Let's talk about the Philodendron Orange Princess next. I'm getting pink princess trauma vibes. The pink princess, some are very beautiful specimens and you get really great color, but I do think that the princess, and all of those, honestly, the wizard, all of them, they grow a little funky. Like, they're not, in my opinion, they don't have like a beautiful growing pattern. In addition, the pink princess, we already know what a pain that plant can be. So I'm just getting those kinds of vibes with the orange princess. I have seen some photos of the color being just so vibrant and beautiful, but in general, I'm not a fan of the orange to begin with. And having the experience I have had, because I've had several pink princesses at this point, and I also have friends that struggle with the pink princess, or that, have their experiences with it. I'm just getting those same kind of vibes, and I just feel like it's unnecessary. Now, this is more of a category, and this is any Hoyas that are going for hundreds of dollars or even $100 for single node cuttings. And I say that because I purchased a single node unrooted cutting of a Hoya Mathilde this year that I believe was like $120, $130. And while the plant is beautiful and has rooted now, it's growing, the variegation is very nice, I just think that that is absolutely ridiculous. I am kicking myself almost every day that I paid so much for such a tiny little plant. Honestly, like, I don't care how rare they are, if they are going in the triple digits for a single node cutting, I don't want it, and I want nothing to do with it. I would love to know how you feel about that, because yeah, I just, ever since I got it, I have been like angry at myself. It just, yeah, just such a little plant and so expensive. I just think that we could, or I could have satisfied that like want of a new plant and of a new beautiful plant with something more substantial than this itty bitty thing that, I don't know, it was just so tiny and unrooted for that matter. So Hoyas in particular, but I would go ahead and venture like almost, no, not any, that's not true, not any plant, because, but yeah, Hoyas in particular that are so tiny and tend to be slow growing, yeah, if they are more than $100 for a single node cutting, no thank you. On the subject of price, all of these crazy new Monstera Mutants that are coming out, and I'll note in the screen like those different types, but that are thousands of dollars. Well, A, I don't have the money to spend thousands of dollars on a plant. B, if I had the money to spend thousands of dollars on a single plant, I would probably not spend it on a plant. And C, we have so many beautiful Monsteras already. Like, I love my elbow. Like, that is still always going to hold such a special place in my heart. The Thai constellation I've fallen in love with this year. There's, I mean, I know that the mints are more expensive, but there's some beautiful mints out there, or different versions of the Thai, like the creme brulee, that are so beautiful. Why would one, again, not for me, spend thousands on this weird looking plant that honestly we're not even sure how it's going to hold color or keep growing to maturity? So, or can you even grow it to maturity, because those plants are like grown in such specific conditions. So no thanks for me. This is another category for me, and that is variegated anthuriums, with the exception of a variegated Warocqueanum. So the variegated Warocqueanum is stunning, or at least some of the ones that I've seen look very beautiful. It's too expensive, so I won't be getting it anyway, but I do think that that is a beautiful plant. However, all of these other like clarinerviums or crystallinums that are variegated, they look like they have a disease. It doesn't really look variegated. It looks like there's something wrong with them. They look unwell. And for the price point, I just don't think that they're worth it. Anthuriums are so beautiful already. I don't think I think that we can stick to like the philodendrons and the monsteras and all of those other plants in the variegated category, and we can leave anthuriums as is in their beautiful natural state. I'm gonna talk about two alocasias a little bit simultaneously, and one of them is the pink or any form of the variegated cuprea, and then the variegated Jacqueline. And they're for similar-ish reasons. One, I can't even keep my regular cuprea super happy. I mentioned it in my houseplant tour video. I am going to be trying to move it just to like a tree fern base mix, as several of you suggested that, you know, you also have trouble growing it in pond. So I'm gonna try that, but yeah, I can't keep the cuprea happy, the OG version. So why would I spend so much money getting a variegated one when, like, yeah, I can't even keep the original happy? Odds are the variegated one is gonna be that much tougher to keep happy. And also, I've only seen, or like the pink cuprea in particular, or even the mint cuprea, only looks really beautiful in like a specific variegation pattern or genes, and I feel like it's really luck of the draw which one you would get anyway. So yeah, I love, some people have really beautiful ones, but again, for me, I struggle with the original one already, so why would I do that? And B, I don't think that they always look great. sometimes I feel like they look ugly. And similarly, the Jacqueline, while I feel I have found what works for Jacqueline or Tonderosa for me, I don't find it to be the easiest by any means. It's one of my trickiest alocasias. So why would I go and get the variegated one, which probably would be that much harder? I also don't love the color of the variegated alocasia. Like I've mentioned this before, I'm not a super fan of the Aurea variegation, and it does tend to have a lot of yellow, so I feel like I just don't need it. In addition to, it would probably be really difficult to keep happy, so no thank you. And finally, the last plant on my list is the Begonia Variegated Ginny Galaxy, or maybe variegated is not in the name, but Ginny Galaxy. So I've seen versions of this begonia and I think it's fine, but I don't think it's nearly as beautiful as some other begonias. Like the Maculata variegated is stunning, and I know a much higher price point, but I just feel like the Ginny Galaxy it just doesn't do anything for me. I feel like the variegated snow-capped is much more beautiful. Again, there's just so many varieties of begonia that are so much more beautiful than the Ginny Galaxy, and for the price point, I just don't even want to bother. It doesn't do it for me. I don't think she's anything to write home about. I want to mention one more, or a group of, there's a lot of hybrids involving the Florida Beauty, and I don't really find the need to have any of them. They all, to be fair, I have my Florida Beauty Tortum hybrid, and that one's gorgeous, but I find that in general, all of the crosses that they've done with the Florida Beauty kind of are starting to look just really similar, and yeah, I just don't need any of those, and especially for the price point, so no thank you. That was my list of 9, technically 10-ish if you count that last group I've mentioned, but I'm curious to know what you think of my list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And particularly, I want to know if you have a beautiful pink Micans that's lush and just gorgeous, because I have not seen one ever, so I'm very curious. Like I said, I am working on my 2025 wish list, so stay tuned for that. We'll also recap what my wish list was for 2024 and if I acquired any of those. So those videos are coming very soon, and this brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and or found it entertaining. Let's chat in the comments below, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.